All right, we're back again. Yeah, we're just picking up from where we left off before. Yeah. All right, so we're looking at now the Greek interpretation and what all that means, and also some other angles of the last discussion that we had. Yeah. So, Interpretato Graeca or Graeca or Greek or the Greek interpretation. Yeah. What's it all about? Once again, Alfie. Who's this geezer? So this geezer now is called Herodotus. Yeah. Interpretation, Greca or Greek interpretation is a Latin term for the common tendency of ancient Greek writers to equate then foreigning their divinities to members of their own pantheon. Herodotus, for example, refers to the ancient Egyptian gods Ammon, Asar, Ptah, also known as Asar, Ptah, Zeus, Dionysus, and Hephaestus, respectively. Is it respectively, let me just jack you. Let me call this thing twerking. No more dirty wine, yeah. Respectively, though. Respectively. Let me just do that, though. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. And then the Romans was like, yo, that's the level of respect. We're gonna come in now with our thing, we're gonna call it now Interpretatio Roman. Yeah, first use of this phrase was by Tacitus in his book Germania. Yeah, so that's my man there with his hairline. Let's go. Let's go, B. So the Roman culture owed much of it to the ancient Greeks. The Etruscans had already incorporated some Greek gods and used versions of their Greek alphabet. The Greek colonies founded in southern Italy from the 8th century BCE contributed much to the young city. And later, when the Romans conquered the Hellenistic world, inclusive of Egypt, they adopted a new wave of Greek beliefs and practices. Where the two mythologies share the origin, the interpretations came naturally. Zeus and Jupiter, for example, were both derived from Deus Pater, pronounced Deus Pater, or Jupiter, aka Sky Father. Yeah, Luke, I am your father, not in this situation. Nah, be you not. But at the same time, we do come across that sentence, our Father who art in heaven. Yeah, let's go check out, see how hallowed their game is, yeah, as well as their name. All right, so boom. Yeah. It is what it is be. Go so. It's always been as well, yeah. Okay. So there's a brother now called Lucas Livingston. He did a paper in 2002 and he discovered how the Greeks stole from the Africans. An example of the thing was there. He was talking about the Theban Zeus. Yes, so one of the most frequent mentioned deities in Herodotus' account of Egypt is the Theban Zeus. Herodotus makes it abundantly clear that Zeus is known as Ammon among the Egyptians. He relates a myth that he learned from the Egyptians at Thebes, the cult center of the ram-headed god Ammon, where Heracles attempts to persuade Zeus to reveal his true form to him, but Zeus resists and devises a mean by which he can get around the issue. Zeus skins a ram, cuts off his head, then holding the head before him and covering himself in the fleece. Didn't even wash off the blood, He showed himself to Heracles. The story explains why the Egyptians represent Zeus with a ram's head, a practice which has extended to the Ammonians, who are a joint colony of the Egyptians and Ethiopians. So far as I can see, the Ammonians took their name too from the circumstance for Ammon. It's the Egyptian name for Zeus. So a whole bag of sentence just to say, yeah, you know what? Respectively, I'm gonna take that thing over there, yeah. So it's well documented. So it is well documented that classical Greek thinkers traveled to what we now call Egypt to expand their knowledge. when the Greek scholars Thales, Hippocrates, Pythagoras, Socrates, Plato, and others, I would like to say Socrates, Socrates interchangeably. So if you're thinking I'm talking about two different people, Nabi, I'm saying same said dude, yeah. So Socrates, Plato, and others traveled to Kemet. They studied at the Temple Universities, Waset, Ipet, Isut. Here the Greeks were introduced to a wide curriculum that encompassed both the esoteric as well as the practical, yeah. Thales was the first. Got my Mike Tyson list one. Thales was the first to go to Kemet. He was introduced to the Kemetic mystery system, the knowledge that formed the basis of the Kemites' understanding of the world, which had been developed over the previous 4,500 years. After he returned, Thales made a name for himself by accurately predicting the solar eclipse and demonstrating how to measure the distance of the ship at sea. He encouraged others to come down. Come on down, yo. They got the knowledge down there, B. 4,500 years of it, yeah. Respectively, yeah. Respectively, B. Yeah. So none of this is to say that the Greeks were without their own ideas. On the contrary, the Greeks appear to have formed their own interpretations of what they learned in Kemet. Nor did the Greeks ever deny, one thing I can't really say, they never did deny the credit due to the Kemites. Some of them. The credit due to the Kemites for their education. Egypt was the cradle of mathematics, Aristotle wrote. But one could make the case that the Greeks also felt that they were destined to build upon which they had already learned from the Africans, the Kemites. The Kemite education system itself, the curriculum, it's meant to last 40 years. None of this, you finish when you're 18, or none of this when you're 60, 40 years, yeah? Although no Greek thinker is known to have made it through the entire process, Pythagoras is believed to have made it further, having studied in Kemet for 23 of his years. So with this understanding, we need to look at what was interpreted from the late Egyptian to Greco-Egyptian to Greco-Roman from an astrological perspective, Let's do that. Now, please note, during the creation of the main cosmologies I mentioned in the last video, prior, Rome wasn't in existence, nor was Greece, nor was Londinium, none of them, and Alexandria and its library, and we're going to get into that as well, none of them things there was there. Manson's doing their thing, So let's look at the planets and the energies they carry, You only need to know the nature to understand the energy. If I was to listen to R&B, drill, jazz, soul, gospel, then you know the nature of the music that I'm into. I just need to say the word and you know the nature. If I was to say, yo, do you know, I said this before, when I say it again, do you know Keith or Rodney? You'd be like, hey, I'd be like, yo, Road, man. You already know it's one of them, man. Then if I was to say, Shaz, you'd be like, you Shaz. I'd be like, yo, man, she loose. You'd be like, oh, let me get her number if you grimy. But you already know from one word, that's the nature, Loose. It's the nature, Roadman's the nature, Not to knock the roadman them or the loose gal, by all means, do what you need to do to survive, You know what I'm saying? You gotta do what you gotta do, fam. But I'm just trying to say there's a certain nature that you carry. Certain people who look at you a certain way. No disrespect once again, B. You don't be rolling up on me. Yo, what you trying to say about the road, man? Nah, B, I'm trying to give you an understanding of what I mean by the nature of certain things, Okay, moving forward. GI, Greek interpretation, RI, Roman interpretation, and the seven. We're talking about the 7 planets then. So we got Luna all up in here, from lunatic thing, lunacy. Now I did mention at the start that Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes was way back a moon god. But we're just going to put him there in the corner, just slightly. We're going to talk about my man still, but just slightly is up there, just to kind of give you that reminder that I know. But we're going to move forward now and talk about my girl. Excuse me, and then my girl again with the black arms, and then my girl again. I don't know what she's holding. I can't make it out still. And then my girl again, all relative to the nature of the moon, Luna. So this is Hecate. This is Hecate, Luna, and then we got girl like Diana, Nothing to do with whales. All relate to the energy and the nature of the moon. Now, please keep that image in your third eye. Yeah, you got it. Call up in your haptics then. Yeah. Okay. That's why you had to keep it in your third eye. Yeah. If you feel free to go back, you can. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about Heket, also known as Hequat, and again Heket. She was the goddess of childbirth. She had a many epithets. Epithets is basically like her status, like I just mentioned before. Do you know Charles? You know, with the Sharon, with the Citroen Sharon, was always with the youths them at the play center. You automatically know man's them is a family guy. You get what I'm saying? It's an epithet, yeah. Family guy. Oh my G, yeah. Always cool, but you remember growing up with him still, you know. And he buy me a bag of lollipops, took me to Alton Towers, took me to Drayton Manor, and the rest of the man them is I, you know. I like my G, is I. Even down to just saying the word is I. Epithet again, yeah. My G, epithet again, yeah. So we're looking at the epithets of the actual deities to understand why is the moon carrying this certain nature. Why is the moon in Cancer? Be the next video. Why does the moon have this certain nature about her in astrology? I can't just be like, yo, the moon represents fighting, you know, aggression, banging at a man, ready to tear, because you're gonna be like, no, that's Mars. What you want about blood? So, you know, I'm gonna give you a base to move forward. Now, bear in mind, there's a bag of other deities. I'm trying to find the one that's most relative and to keep this flowing, keep it a buck, but at the same time, you're gonna get the point, yeah? So taking a step back, Heket was the goddess of childbirth, creation, grain germination. She was depicted as a frog or a woman with the head of a frog, betraying her connection with water. As a water goddess, she was the goddess of fertility, where she particularly associated with the later stages of labor. In this way, the title, the servants of Heket, may have been a title applied to her priestesses who were trained as midwives. So this is now the base for the moon, yeah? So then the Greeks was like, you know what, me, I want to pay homage respectfully. Let me just bring in Hecate, yeah? Didn't even change up the letters, you know. Let me just bring in Hecate, yeah? So Hecate, on the other hand, was mentioned to be a guardian of passages, doorways, guardian for travelers in the night. It was said by Hesiod that she had a sway over many things, and that the son of Kronos made her a nurse of the young, who after that day saw with their eyes the light of the all-seeing dawn. Her epithets include saving grace, eternal sacred, star walker, cow-eyed, nurse of the child, birth, goddess of midwives, yeah, birth helper, goddess of childbirth, midwife, child's nurse, nurse of the youth, them, saffron clothes, leader of dogs, black bitch. I was like, rah. But then the thought, hang on, though, the moon does go black. No need to call her a bitch, though. Come on, leave it out. It's interesting. We also found black dog, horn face, horns, looking to name a few, okay? But I was like, rah, just relax, me. It's not that bad. Anyway, regarding Luna, where the Romans came in and was like, yo, I see what you're doing there. Let me just slide in and just drop in my, you know, my little Luna over here. So she was a main deity of the Romans, who also held Diana and Juno as moon deities at the time past. Her epithets given were also representations that the moon was Lucina in their roles as goddesses for childbirth and those who safeguarded the lives of women in labor. So you kind of see the theme now. It's all about good juju looking after the youths. Now, don't get me wrong, they had other epithets as well that were kind of like, you know, low-key messed up, but at the same time, they had that kind of that nature to them, which I wanted to bring forth and bring to your attention. You with me? I ain't gonna try and talk bad of the natures that are out there. So when you look at the moon deities briefly, you can see that Hecate, and Luna related to a consciousness of fertility, nurture, and childbirth. Hecate was said to have breathed life into the new body of Horus at birth. Yeah. So when you come to the earth, you know, who's going to swaddle you up? Who's going to look after you? Who's going to nurture you? Who's going to feed you? And change your nappies, sort the bogey out your nose. Make sure you're okay. You catch a trip and you need a plaster on your kneecap. Who's going to do? That's the lunar energy coming through. Your moms, your dads can do it as well still. They're just leaning on that energy. You dig? Because obviously we got lunar. We're in the Roman world. Well, England, wherever you are in the world actually, what more likely you would have got conquered by the Romans, Spaniards, some European. You miss, you're going to have lunar. Moon day obviously comes into it as well, yeah? Monday, moon day, all right? Cool. As I said, so this leads to the moon having this type of energy ascribed through the aeons. Common sense indicates that these archetypes had more to them, but the theme remains true. The moon is a nurture type of nature. Let's go. Let's keep it pushing. Okay. So I got a little bit of a blood nose. It ain't coronavirus. Relax, be easy. It's a little blood nose though still. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, who are these chaps popping up on my screen? What's going on? What is happening? Hermes, Ingenuity, wow, Toth. Okay, Mercurius. Oh, yes. And Tahuti on the left, you know, giving man's the palm to let them know don't mess about. It's not that time, yeah. Okay, so collectively they all relate to the nature of Mercury. As you can see, the man's them did him bad. He's got cloth, could have draped it over him, but that's how they stay, yeah. Okay, and then there's a logo, the insignia, to let you know what time it is. Okay, let's move forward. Boom, boom. Personalities. Okay, so Tough, we already discussed about the brother still, but Tough, or should I say the nature, but Tough was originally a moon god as much as he helped to measure time and astronomy, which helped the natives of the land understand what time it was to plant, when to harvest. You know, as time progressed, he became credited as an inventor and a wise persuader, scientist, medicine, librarian, confidant, curator of wisdom, record keeper, you know, vizier, messenger of Heru, keeper of the dead, and a judge. Yeah, simple. In Greece, Hermes was a deity of the world's invisible and visible. He was linked to divination, initiation, magic, and keeper at the boundaries or doorways between two locations, be that worlds, rooms, languages, or countries. Now, if you remember, the moon had the same kind of energy, so you might also say this is your rational mind, where the moon will be your emotional mind. Okay, that's the reason why I was thinking, okay, probably that's why they linked up my man to the moon. But yeah, doorways. The birth canal, so doorway. Doorway. If I come to a next country, I'm gonna have to learn to speak the language. There's gonna be a barrier, doorway. You with me? Locations between 2 points. Okay, it's the keeper. Okay, Mercury, the last one now could go into Rome. Let me know if I'm losing you, if I'm going too fast. You can always rewind, you know. Remember that. You can pause it, you can read it. Don't even have to have me to narrate. You could just be like, all right, pause. All right, on to the next slide, you know. You're good. So Mercury was the god of trade, messages, eloquence, patron of travelers, thievery, teeth, you know. Carried the gods to the afterlife like Tahuti. We also carried dreams from Morpheus to the valley of Somnus to sleeping humans, yeah. On a side note, on the 15th of May, no typo, apologies, every year they had a festival called the Mercurialia, sorry, where they would sprinkle water from his sacred bell onto his heads, onto their heads as well. Blessed be thy name. If you look here, you can see where this practice began. Blessed be thy game. Yeah. Rah. And another one. Over the Romans. Interesting. They're doing it with the onks as well, yeah? Okay. Okay. So on a side note, we can also do Interpretato Jamaica, yeah? And then bring in Anansi. I would say Anansi is more time Mercury, because when you peep it, he kept records. He had nice stories. The stories are spoken to you in a way where it's like a father to a son. You with me? And he kept the records. Trickster, like Loki. And he comes under that as well. Okay, so Mercury is relative to the logic and the mind via thoughts, yeah? So it's kind of like your logical side, where your lunar side will be your imaginary side. When you peep it, if you're trying to explain to someone that you're going to use a grain of sand to create a computer, they're going to be like, yo, you bluff. What are you smoking? Are you drinking? Are you mad? What's going on? Is everything okay at home? It's going to be the general questions. But because you can see in that madness, you've got to then bring it to the logical mind and be like, yo, make it so. And then the logical mind will just, you know, create it, get a plan and everything together. Two, now you got a silicon. You dig? Understand? Okay. Yeah, like hetero. Okay. Oh. Let's go. Oh. Let's go. Oh. Whoa. Let's go. Yuck. Ew. Get out of here, B. In Greeks then. Okay, so what we're looking at now is the energy of Venus, yeah? Heteru, also known as Hathor. to the left. And then as you can see, progressing to the right now, it's a different type of nature. They went too far again, yeah. Modesty, keeping everything blessed. To Wagwan over here, is everything okay at home, B? Okay, so just a second, Heteru. A statuette portrays a woman holding the image of the head of Hathor. Ancient Greek Aphrodite, Orania, draped rather than nude. Ancient Greek Herma of Aphroditus, a male form of Aphrodite. Drop your skirt, B. What are you doing? And then the image of the Roman Veneris, which is Venus, yeah? Okay. Let's go. Gross. Okay, so Heteru Hathor, aka the House of Horus in Greek, had a lot of roles described to her: sky goddess and consort of Ra. Her benefic side was that of music, dance, joy, love, sexuality, maternal care, and a representation of femininity. Mistress of the sky, she was linked to Nebeth Tepet. Yeah, Nebeth Tepet. Nebeth Tepet. Can I say that right, you know, Nebeth Tepet, yeah, Nebeth Tepet, whose name really means lady of the offering or lady of the vulva, and also mistress of love. Okay, bit of a mouthful, and it is a bit of a mouthful. Yuck. Anyway, moving forward, regarding Aphrodite, this is in Greece, yeah? Homer's Iliad said Aphrodite is the daughter of Zeus and Dione. However, she came into the world of Greek mythology. The goddess of love and beauty is best known for her stunning aesthetic, but also as a powerful immortal deity capable of stirring up romance and mix-up, you know, among gods and mortals. The Greek word aphros means foam, and Hesiod relates this in his Theology that Aphrodite was born of the white form produced by the severed genitals of Uranus after his son Kronos dashed him into the sea. So the reason why the sea is salty is because, yeah, yuck. I don't know where they went with that stuff. Why? We don't know. But anyway, in Rome now, you're moving. You got Venus, and her epithets are as above and as above. But they decided to add up different types of festivals and everything else for my girl, yeah, my G, which is Venus Calestis, Heavenly Venus, Venus Cloacina. You gotta give it a try, but I'm not trying to be dumb, yeah. Cloacina, Venus the Purifier, Venus Phaeli, Lucky Venus, Venus Genetrix, yeah, Venus the Mother, Venus Obsequens, Indulgent Venus, Venus Urania, Heavenly Venus. Like, they really liked my girl, you know, B. April the 1st was the Veneralia, a honor held for Venus Verticordia, which is Venus, the changer of hearts, and Fortuna Virilis, good fortune, which is an interesting read, okay? So you can catch the juju now, Venus, you know what it's all about, yeah. It's Venus there, so. Okay, now, whoa, hang on, what are we doing over here with Sekhmet? Why is Sekhmet in the mix? But I'm going to show you something. I'll show you something that you may not be aware of, yeah? So in a myth about the end of Ra, rule on earth, Ra sends the goddess Hathor, which is Venus, in the form of Sekhmet to destroy mortals who conspired against him. In the myth, Sekhmet's bloodlust was not quelled at the end of the battle and led to her destroying almost half of humanity, half of them, you know. To stop her, Ra poured out beer dyed with red ochre or hematite, which is iron, so that it resembled blood. Mistaking the beer for blood, she became so drunk that she gave up the slaughter and returned peacefully to Ra. The same myth was also described in the prognosis text of the calendar of lucky and unlucky days of Papyrus Cairo 86637, yeah? Okay, so what's happening now over here in Greece? They're moving the same said way. Why have they got a picture of something coming up before the some thumping up man's them? Look, the man to the right rolling, getting bowling. You don't want none of it. It's off. It's gone. The man to the left, medulla, kidneys, medulla oblongata is gone. It's gone. It's punching out everything. Yeah, my girl's there, just reaching out. Say something. And then the son carrying, what's that, man? Looks like a unicorn or a horse, and the person just straddling the thing like, yeah, what's crack-a-lacking. This image that you're looking at right now is the Greek version called Eosphorus. Now, I'm going to say phosphorus because I ain't trying to go no Eosphorus. It's just phosphorus, yeah? A name meaning like bringer, the name of the morning star, the planet Venus in its morning appearance. Okay, another Greek name for the evening star is Hesperus, which means dusk bringer when it's behind the sun. Yeah, dusk, dawn, dusk. Now remember, Sekhmet was going on really banging out, man's doing too much, doing the worst. The sun had to just struggle up with some liquor, tainted with some mixed things. She then calmed down and came back to him as her Thor, yeah? So initially she was a Thor. He was like, yo, go, fair, do your thing. She got a bit merry, drugged her up, come back, relax, me, relax. So she's come back. The Greeks were like, all right, boom, we got our own. Let's move forward, yeah? Okay, boom, it's another image. They blended the two of them together. Yeah, the ancient Greek vase painting, Eos for us and Hes for us, is phosphorus really, as a young man, either in the form of a boss surrounded by the shining orb of the star, or as a winged god holding up a torch and crowned with shining aureole. Okay, now the Latin word corresponding, so we're now in Rome, yeah? The Latin word corresponding to Greek phosphorus is Lucifer. Oh, did you see what I did there, B? Okay, so Lucifer in its astronomical sense, both in prose and poetry, is the standard thing. So if you peep it and you stay with me now, Sekhmet, Egypt, Eos for us or phosphorus in Greece, and then Lucifer in Rome, yeah? Okay, now remember Sekhmet's epithet, she's that dude, yeah? You got the ups, call on Seki. Seki be there in a Seki with the blicky, yeah? She's that type of dude, yeah? That type of energy. Shouldn't even say dude, she's that type of dudette with that type of energy, yeah? Let's have a look and see how she's rolling. So Sekhmet associated with death, disease, goddess of war, the destroyer of enemies of the sun god of Ra. So she's riding for Ra, yeah? Epithets were destroyer of the rebellions, wandering the wastes, yeah, entrapping one, giver of ecstasies, okay, inspirer of males, okay, ruler of the deserts, ruler of lions, okay, great one of Heku, mother of the dead, lady of the bloodbath, destroyer by fire, powerful of heart, terrible one in the scarlet lady due to her lust for blood and the like. So you're saying that this now has to go across to phosphorus, has to go across to Lucifer. This sounds like Lucifer blood. You know what I'm saying? She loves my art though, so I'll give her that still. Now look, this is in Rome now, yeah? A 2nd century sculpture of the moon god Selene, because they mixed it up, but it's still the same lunar energy, yeah? Accompanied by, and it says perhaps we know what's going on, be phosphorus and Hesperus, yeah? The corresponding Latin names are Luna in the middle, Lucifer to the front, and Vesper to the back, puckering up because truth says mooning, yeah? I'm not saying I'm just saying what I see, blood. Man's just puckered up where the next man's looking down like, yo, I'm better than all of y'all, man. Look at my crepes. You know, them when they look at my crepes. Someone taking a picture. Yeah, that's me. Lucifer, yeah? Luna's in the middle, just like, man's puckering up for real though, still. He's looking at like, You ever seen a yardie say, You know how them lips are staying, yeah? You dig? Anyway. So like I said, Vesper means evening or yeah, that type of dusk in Latin, yeah, classical Latin. So remember, we now know what Sekhmet's energies are. We know that phosphorus or Eos for us. I'm gonna just stress that E out. I'm like, why did you put an E there, blood? But anyway, then now you got Lucifer, yeah. Okay, so they say that the heavens testify to the corrupt control of Venus, Lucifer and Vesper merely signifying the bonum utile, used for good or means to an end, and bonum delectable good. So they're saying that, it's got two types of natures now, yeah, useful good and a delectable good, yeah. This is the Venusian energy that we're looking at the moment. Try and keep up, please. Okay, two sides of her manifold presence, referring to her opposites which share in a unity the bestial Venus, within all whom opposites can and must be reconciled. In other words, it's blessed to have Venus juju, but how much is too much? You gotta have that material stuff, but if you're going too far, you're going too far, my G. Yeah, the morning star in its appearance. The morning star in its appearance of the planet Venus, an inferior planet, meaning that its orbit lies between that of the sun and the earth. I should be giving you a slide, but I'm just going to try and explain it. Okay, so the moon is between Venus is between, its orbit is between the Earth and the Sun, and dependent upon the orbital locations of both Venus and the Earth, it can be seen in the eastern morning sky for an hour or so before the Sun rises or dims it. So certain points in the year, certain points in a couple of 5 years or a couple of 3 years, you're going to see Venus come up before the Sun looking all splendifiry. And then there's going to be certain times when you see it chilling with the moon. Yeah, so it's getting mooned, or it's in front of the Sun, like, yo, it's me, you know, I'm bringing in dawn. I'm bringing in dawn. You get what I'm saying? If that makes sense? Yeah. Okay. It's the brightest object in the sky after the Sun and the moon in its Lucifer position. Yeah, outshining the planets Saturn and Jupiter. But while these rise higher in the sky, Venus never does. This may lie behind myths about deities associated with the morning star, proudly striving for the highest place amongst the gods and being cast down to the underworld. It's fading like a barber. It's fading, you know. It's fading. Lucifer. If you get it, you get it, you get it, you get it. So, Eosphorus, god of the morning star. That's the mouthpiece to know what's going on. Artist needs to come again, yeah. So these are different kind of statements from antiquity that kind of clarify the nature of Venus, yeah. So you've got one here by Homer, Iliad 23, yeah, Greek epic, roughly around the 8th century, blood before Christ. At tea time, when Phosphorus, dawn star, passes across Ea, harbinger of light, and after him Eos, which is the dawn of the saffron mantle, is scattered across the sea. Now the reason why I picked that one, because it's saying that as soon as the Venus is up, it's going to be dawn and saffron. Saffron's what color? Yeah, red, the blood. Yeah, okay. Biddy bum bum. We move further down. Her beauty shines forth in gleaming splendor like phosphorus. So man would use that as a chattel line, you know. They were like, yo, baby love, you did shine like phosphorus, you know. The next man be like, yo, you're my size. You did shine like Eos for us, you know. anyway. So there's the next one now in Aesop's Fables. Yeah. Greek fable, there was a lamp drunk on his own oil who boasted one evening to everyone present that he was brighter than Phosphorus, the morning star, and that his splendor shone more conspicuously than anything in the world, you know. A sudden puff of wind blew in the lamp's direction, and his breath extinguished his lights. A man came up and lit the lamp once again and told him, yo, shine lamp and be silenced. The splendor of the stars is not ever extinguished, never. Relax yourself, yeah, humble yourself. So anyway, though, Ovid Metamorphosis, yeah, first century BC to first century AD, I should say, and it goes to dawn, Eos, so the dawn is basically Eos, yeah, watchful in the reddening dawn, through wide her crimson doors and rose-filled halls, the stellae stars, yeah, took flight in marshaled order set by Lucifer, the morning star, who left his station last, then when Titan perceived Lucifer setting, he rose in the sky. Yeah, so basically, you know, it's nighttime. Lucifer's rolling, coming up, looking, everyone's peeling off. It's like, yeah, I got this. Then the sun comes in and it's like, nah, you ain't got what? Basically, go humble yourself, yeah, and just, you know, you have to sit back down, yeah. The same said book again, breaks it down, the star that wakes to dawn, Lucifer, and leaves the heavens last while the sun's doing this thingy, yeah. And then another one, if Luna is a goddess, the Lucifer and also the rest of the wandering stars will have to be counted as gods as well. So I say that to say this, yeah, Venus has a beautiful energy, money, wealth, opulence. That's what it represents, yeah. But when really badly aspected, it creates death of the soul. You can't demote the sun or your soul for Venus because it will always fall. So it's kind of like everybody's looking upon a thing like, yeah, man, it's great, all of this money, all these riches, all these contracts, but then they're starting to lose their true soul. You with me? Using the heavens as an example is showing you that it's going to fall, you know, it's not bright. If you meet someone and you're like, yo, she's fire, you know, but then she opens her mouth and it's, yeah. You got done by the Venus thing because there's no soul. If you meet a gentleman, you know, yeah, with a big beard, is 7'6". No, man, he's 7 foot. and then he opens his mouth, a bag of garbage coming out. Then once again, look, you caught up in the Sekhmet thing, you get it. You're working with the Lucy B. You don't want to be working the Lucy angle, even down to kind of putting stuff across where you're trying to teach people or get people to follow you and get likes and whatnot. Are you working with the soul? Are you working with the Ra, Apollo, and that type of energy, the Sol, Invictus energy, or are you working with the Sekhmet type of, pay attention, B. And if you are, defend my arts. If you are, defend my arts, okay? You get the point, Okay, so we're still on the Greek and Roman interpretation. We're now looking at the sun. Yeah, you got Ra down here. You got Ra again. Or should I say Horus and then Ra rolling through. Ra and Re, Horus and Hiru. We've got this one here, so Apollo. I remember seeing this in Naples or Napoli. It's quite big still. Yeah, and then you got Sol with the eagle. Sol again. I remember seeing this online and they were saying that it's in the Vatican. When I got into the Vatican to try and observe it, I couldn't really see it. So everything was kind of locked off and whatnot. Hopefully, if the situation resolves itself, I'll be able to go again and try and make some further notes. Okay, so that's Sol and Sol in Vitica. Shares same said energy. Collectively, they all relate to the nature of the sun. Now, you already know about the sun, yeah? The sun does what the sun does, and it's the soul. It's good juju. Makes you feel good. You know the nature, man. You know the elements. It's just great. So we're talking about Ra now, who's described in antiquity with the following epithets: "O Lord, bestowed, far-reaching, Father of all, glorious, Lord of the horizon, Lord of the secret casket belonging to all sets, the breath of life. He was seen as life, and as such represented life, warmth, and glow, and the soul. The people saw him as the principal God. As time passed, he was merged with Amun, and also Atum, and also Kefri, and also Knum, and also other solar deities, which is a large topic upon itself. But understand that Ra was so loved as Amun Ra that it was the principal religion in the verse world up until Christianity came in. Amun Ra appreciation was seen as a monotheism, which was countered by the Aten, which was another solar deity that came through via Akhenaten, I should say. And then obviously that got shut down, and then the Amun Ra thing came true again. So yeah, Amun Ra is loved, but you can see the energies, man. You know the vibes. It's all about that soul kind of energy with me. So Apollo, now moving into Greece, is recognized as the god of archery, music, dance, truth, prophecy, healing, diseases, the god of the art of the muses. So above us, Ra, yeah. He presides over poetry. Greeks claim he invented string music, which you know is a lie, and the liar, and he offered protection to the herdsmen, found new towns, established civil constitution, giver of lords, looks after the youth, is protector of the young and guides them into the passage of adulthood, and children are asked to grow their hair until they reached a certain age after it was cut in honor of Apollo. Now, where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, seen that in Egypt, ain't I? Seen that in certain African tribes as well, which is older than the Apollo thing. You with me? So this here is what you're looking at. It's called the side lock of youth, also called a Horus lock, or the prince's lock, or the princess's lock, or side braid. It was an identifying characteristic of the child in ancient Egypt. It symbolically indicates that the wearer is a legitimate heir of Osiris. The side lock was used as a divine attribute from at least as early as the Old Kingdom. Yeah, in other or earlier depictions, the side lock can be seen with a short hairstyles. For example, mortuary coats. Later, it was usually attached to a almost shoulder length wig, and was worn in 3 styles: curled, straight, or in tresses. Based on the connection between side locks and the children, Egyptologists coined the term side lock of youth because they were used by, the youth and the divine. Now, the key thing that they're not really getting into, which I want to get into, is back then there wasn't really no kind of guidelines to be like, you know what, you leave the youth them alone. You can't really touch up the youth them like that. So that the ancestors was like, yo, let me just put this on my youth's head to make people know, yo, it's a youth, and I don't want to be rolling up on you and, bringing out some different type of energy and next type of net root on you to humble yourself. You get what I'm saying? You can see where a certain man gets that energy from, because it's been here since day You know what I'm saying? Let me just drop it again. It's been here since day to let people know that this kind of energy was there to kind of protect the youthsdom from certain eyes, because certain eyes was moving with a certain energy. If you do get the chance, look up a thing called pederasty, P-E-D-E-R-A-S-T-Y. It's not for the youthsdom. It's really ugly. Yeah, it's really ugly. It's interesting that around that time when it was trying to get prominence, that Islam was actually formed, where they've got the moon next to the star, not ahead of the star, but the moon is next to the star, and the star is next to the moon. The moon and the star is one. The star is not ahead of the sun. If you get the levels, you understand? They'll say, no, it's not that time. Yeah, it's not that time. So anyway, we move to Rome now, and we got Sol and Sol Inviticus meaning unconquered. It was considered that the Romans had two different sun gods, but some challenged this and say that the old version was already in place and that followers were still influenced by Sol up until the merging with Helios, Apollo, and either Mithras and Christ. The energy is very similar to the other sun deities in adoration. It's more or less the same juju. This is the reason why the sun, which rules Leo, is what's that now? Children, poetry, the arts, creativity, and things of that nature, because it's that nature, it's soul stuff, you with me? Someone's singing and they're singing it from their soul. That's where they're pulling that from, yeah? That kind of juju. You with me? Okay. I'm not trying to catch that card now from your joy. Okay, so Billy Bam Bam, we're now dealing with Moors. Yeah. Just to let you know, sorry, the sun deals with the he or she, because in Japan they've got a female representative for the sun, which is called, if I believe my memory is correct, Amaterasu. So it doesn't matter. Bear in mind, you've got to go back to the Hermetic principle. So the sun does have a female energy, or all right, you know, that type of juju. But generally, yeah, the soul itself, once the nativity, everybody's like, yeah, what's your sun sign? Fair enough, you got all the others, but you more lean towards your sun sign because that's your soul and who you are and what you represented. So what we're dealing with now is Mars, yeah? Mars, we've got here Horus or Hiru, because some people say that Horus or Hiru deals with the Martian type of thing. I want to say no, that title should really be Horror, yeah? Horror. And then we got, you know, looking like the grass in the wheelchair, Aries, but it's not a wheelchair, it's a shield, yeah, Cupid. And then we got man like Mars. Now, if you pay attention now, you can see, and I think my mouse should be showing up here, yeah? You can see you got the old, the Mohawk, yeah, come again. You ain't got one, but you know he does, and you know he does. So you know where that's coming from now, yeah? And the reason why I'm going to work with and Hope. But collectively, they all work with the energy and the nature of Mars, yeah? Okay, so personalities attributed to the nature or the juju. So looking again now, so you got Horus or Hiru. In one of the coffin text spells in 148, it narrates this bird having been delivered by Isis. She addresses him in these words, "O Falcon, my son Hiru, dwell in this land as your father saw, in his name of Falcon, who is on the battlements of the mansion of him whose name is hidden." That's the cosmos, or Amen, yeah. Battlements as in war, but the real warrior was Anhor, or Hanher, or in her, was often known by his Greek name, Honorus, yeah? Honorus, which sounds like what? Goso, okay? He was an ancient Egyptian god of war and hunting. From this, you know, from Abydos, who defended his father, the sun god Ra, from his enemies, giving him the epithets, slayer of enemies. I could have talked about Montu, the falcon god, put him in the mix, but Anhur deserves, you know, an honorable mention because it's Honorus, you know, is one of the gods who stood in front of the sun's bark, you know, the god bark, and defended it from Isfet, also known as Chaos, also known as Apep, sorry. He was a patron of the ancient Egyptian army and the personification of royal warriors, but also represented the creativity of man, okay? And so was not always a violent deity. Calm. You knew when to and when not to because it's honorous. You with me? One of them, man. So let's go to war. Men only, women and children, leave them alone, yeah? Okay. So during this festival, the Egyptians held a playful mock battle with the priests and the people, where they beat each other with sticks them on a bit of a banter. No one was getting injured. Ain't no claims. He was associated with Ares, the Greek god of war, by both the Greek and the Roman Emperor Tiberius. And apparently Tiberius was depicted wearing a crown of Anhor on the walls of the temple of Kom Ombo, dedicated to Sobek and Horus or Heru. Excuse me. Although Anhor originated this, he grew in popularity during the New Kingdom, which he became more closely associated with Heru as the composite deity Horus Anhor, the modern warrior and the savior of those in battle. The Nubians renamed Horus Anhor as Ares Hesnefer. So that sounds like Ares because it's Aries Hesnefer. Yeah, Ares Hesnefer. Also Ares Nupis or Ars Nupis or Heaven's Nupis. Possibly meaning Horus of the beautiful house. This deity was thought to be married to Oset, linking him to Asar, the pharaohs Nectanebo, first and the second of the 13th dynasty late period, built a temple to Honorius Shu, named Pershu, the house of Shu, also known as Peros. But it's thought that there are many, who may have been the earliest shrine in the area. Ptolemy IV, Philopator, and Ptolemy V Epiphanes built the temple of Ares Hesnefer, on the island of Philae. Okay, I believe that's Ptolemy IV. Was it the fifth? Yes, the fourth and the fifth. Yeah, apologies. Do know my Roman numerals. But yeah, once again though, you've got the neat throw, top, bit of gold banding at the back. And then you've got obviously the Wascepter, Ankh, and the Mohawk running through, yeah? His epithets once again: Lord Lances, the one who leads back, the distant one, repeller of enemies, slayer of enemies. This is a war bridging, yeah? He's doing the things for the wars. I like the brother still, so I just thought I'd throw up a few more because the warrior bands, they need to maintain that honorous stance. You get what I'm saying? We need to bring that back still. So you can see the Mohawk again, and it's got the throw war, needs flex with the bicep and that. Don't know what's going on here, but he's doing his thing. Is doing his thing. I've never seen that, so I don't know what that is. Okay, you got Brother again with the throw, Mohawk again. Obviously, that's where his lance would be. Third eye, he's doing his thing, yeah. He's doing his thing, and then once again, is leaning in now. Now, some say that's Bast is not Sekhmet, but I'm going to show you how the Greeks and the Romans assumed that was Sekhmet. It makes sense logically, it could be Sekhmet, but some say no, it's Bast or Best. Okay. So his weapons were a spear and a lasso. Text from the New Kingdom call him Honorius, the god of gods, king of the sky, he who created himself, thus turning him into a creator and sun god. Honorius also formed associations with other gods in the pantheon. For example, he was worshipped as Honorius Shu. In another version of the story, it was Shu who brought back the eye, this time as the goddess Tefnut, which in turn could be depicted as a lioness. The myths about the eye give Honorius some of the characteristics of Thoth, who healed the eye of Horus. Honorius was also connected with the war god Montu, perhaps because he was also linked with yet another god, Horus, with the strong arm, you know. Because of his characteristics as a fighter, the Greeks identified him with Ares. Said before, but I'll say it again. Representations show the god in human form, usually with a spear and a rope. Occasionally, he has the head of a falcon on his head of 4 tall feathers. The first evidence for a coat of Honorius is not a coat, man. It's a training thing. It's a military thing, yeah, of Honorius comes from the Abydos region, yeah. Why they saying it's a coat, you know, still. So personalities attributed. Okay, now we're moving across. Where are we now? You know where we are. We're in Greece. Mohawks are out. This one down here is looking a little floppy, yeah. You know, you need to spray, get it up, pause, looking a little floppy. Okay, so Ares, the god of war and battle. Some of his epithets are he who hears, feasted by women, feasted by women, destroyer of men. So he's destroying men and he's getting yammed by the Yalem. Double-faced, yeah, Alloprosalas, ally of law, Sonargus, Themestios, I do apologize. Bringer of much weeping, you're making people cry. Gold broker of corpses. Yo, you got the corpse, I got the gold, B. Yo, naturally, you can see the type of energy bounty hunter, basically. That means, yeah, this personification had the energy was terrible. What is Mars? What do you expect? Allegedly at Sparta, each company of youths had to sacrifice a poppy before engaging in the ritual of fighting at the Phobaeum and was part of the cult. Once again, I feel it was like a military scheme, yeah? So Ares had many women, but none of his affairs were as famous as the one he had with Aphrodite, hence the reason why I showed you Anhor, or Honorus, we call him Honorus now, yeah, where he was rolling with it looks like Sekhmet. Okay, remember Sekhmet's Hathor is Venus, yeah. So really, we got now Mars with Venus. I'll show you again. We got Mars with Venus, but we're looking at Aries now, yeah. So Aries had many women, but none of his affairs was famous as the one he had with Aphrodite. Aphrodite's Venus. You can see where I'm going with this. So pay attention, please. At the time, the goddess of beauty was married to Ares, his brother Hephaestus, who was told by Helios of his wife's transgressions in entanglement, yeah, as Festus fashioned a delicate, almost invisible bronze net, which he put on the bed where Ares and Aphrodite were supposed to lie. When they finally did, in his absence, he stormed into the room with a host of the gods. The Olympians laughed for days at the helplessly entrapped lovers. However, it seems that in this case, Ares had the last laugh, since Aphrodite bore him at least 3 of as many as 8 children. Hesiod lists only Demios, which is dread, nothing to do with Rasta, Phobos, which is fear or phobia, and Harmonia, harmony. Later, authors included Adestria, Advestia, apologies, which is revolt, and some or all of the 4 erotes, Eros, and Teros, Pothos, and Himeros. Yeah, Cupid, requited love, sexual longing, sexual desire. Yeah, okay. Let's keep it moving, B. Let's keep it stepping. So we got here now with the floppy headdress. Got him on the coin is still floppy. It's not looking blessed, my G. Too much pies. It's too much pies. Okay, so Mars, god of wars, originally an agricultural god whose character changed with that of his people. For this reason, he's the most Roman of the gods. Okay, the most Roman, representing an abundance of the fields and the battles that must be won to keep and enlarge the provinces that kept Rome fed and thriving. He is the son of Juno or Luno and Upiter or Jupiter, yeah, husband of Bellona and the lover of Venus. We're back again. You see, you can see now where this is coming from, yeah? He was the most prominent of the military gods that were worshipped by the Roman legions. The martial Romans considered him second in importance only to Jupiter. His festivals were held in March, named for him, and October. Now, if you know the zodiac, say March is Aries and October is Scorpio. Both of those, as you know, are ruled by Mars. As the word Mars has no Indo-European derivation, is most likely the Latinized form of the agricultural Etruscan god Maris. Initially, Mars was a Roman god of fertility and vegetation and a protector of cattle fields and boundaries and farmers. In the 2nd century BC, the conservative Cato the Elder advised for your cattle, for them to be healthy, make this sacrifice to Mars. So saying, chop up the cow for Mars, yeah? Sylvanus, you must also make this sacrifice every year. So they're saying every year, chop it up for Mars, yeah? Mad. Mars later became associated with battles as the growing Roman Empire began to expand, and he came to be identified with the Greek god Ares. Come on now, it's the other way around. Unlike this Greek counterpart, Mars was generally revered and rivaled Jupiter as the most honored god, just like Honorus. He was also the tutelary god of the city of Rome, as he was regarded as the legendary father of Rome's founder, Romulus. It was believed that all Romans were descendants of Mars, yeah? So when you peep it now, they're saying, even Rome was found by this type of energy. Remember that. This type of energy found Rome, yeah? That's the reason why in Egypt you never have no gladiator battles. No, yeah. Anyway, his priests were dancing warriors, the Sali, who sang their war songs in the streets during his festivals. The sacred spears, the 12 shields, were kept in his temple in Palatine Hill. Epithets include Supreme One, God of War, Huntsman. Mars is all of the above. So you can see the energy and the juju of Mars, yeah? And why? And why he likes Venus. And wherever all that comes from, yeah? Okay, so now we're moving it on. Oh, geez. Got a man like Ammon rolling through, yeah? Bouncy. Yeah? And then over here now we got Zeus. And then we got Jupiter, yeah, Sky Father. Diupatar, yeah, Sky Father, aka Jove, yeah, no witnesses. And that's a symbol. Okay, so we're looking at the expansive nature now of Jupiter, okay? Ammon, Egyptian god of the sun and air. His name means hidden one, pronounced Im or Im. Ammon, we say like that, came into existence as the hidden one, and in the pyramid text of circa 5th dynasty, it was says that ascending into the sky at death, the pharaoh would, as the son of Jeb, sit on the throne of Ammon, ascending to the sky father. This indicates that Ammon is a sky deity as mentioned, okay? Please bear in mind, Ammon is also called Asharenu, meaning witching names, speaking broadly near the end of the 5th dynasty. He wasn't verified as the primordial god. Some say that Atum was an alternate name for him, hence the relationship to the sun, and also the link back / assimilation to Re or Ra. Atum was seen as the everything before existence and everything after existence. It is said that Atum came from the chaos waters and created everything, and then they just assimilated him into him to then let Ammon have that title. Yeah. To be fair, Ammon's origins are lost in antiquity, but we can try and understand the nature of Jupiter / Zeus through the representations of what we have. Ammon, in an anthropomorphic sense, suggests a figure like a king. He often appears wearing a crown consisting of 2 high plumes. Each feather is divided vertically in 2 sections and horizontally in 7 sections. Sometimes he is seen with an erect phallus. His sacred animals are the ram and also the goose. Ammon's reign ran for nearly 2,000 years in Kemet and Nubia, and even when it was removed, it always came back with the same prominence, if not greater. In the New Kingdom, the power of the priests of Ammon were on par with Pharaoh, Some would even say that it outclassed, think monarchy and the church, but the church really runs the country, yeah? The Ammon priesthood had a hold of the country, and all offerings, bounty, and spoils of war would go towards the priesthood, to the point where after some time, all other temples were assimilated into his one. Yeah, think expansion. It was so large, so large that the empire span of the priesthood's domain was allegedly 90% of the ships Ammon, 2/3 of the temple land Ammon. It got to the point that the priesthood effectively held ownership of Upper Egypt, Thebes, and Lower Egypt was Pharaoh's, which is Tanis, yeah? Okay, so from 1080 to 943 BC, the priests became so powerful that when Libyan king Soshenq I came to power, he abolished the practice of priests succeeding their fathers and God's wives choosing their successors, and mandated that the priests and God's wives were to be appointed by the pharaoh himself. He didn't go as far as to ban the cult of Ammon, because it obviously was too popular and powerful by that time, but he thought to himself, you know what, let me just keep them in check and make sure they stay in check, but they got out of check. He brought them back into check and they got out of check. So it just got to the realm where it's like, you know what, yeah, go so. So anyway, we got to the point where a king called Ergomenes of Meroe says, you know what, allow all this, allow the talk, and just massacred all of the priests. In the end, it was replaced by the Romans via Christianity, and they adopted the same energy of conquest and influence, all in the name of, but we're not going to go into that. But yeah, just think expansion when you're thinking of Ammon or Zeus or Jove or Jupiter, because that's all they do is expand. Yeah. In 425 BC, Herodotus and his histories equated the Greek god to Zeus with the Egyptian god Ammon. We already had that conversation before with regards to the fleece and whatnot. Yeah. In 300 BC, Alexander the Great, in an attempt to unify his new kingdom under one religion, attempted to make Ammon Zeus, or Zeus / and Ammon Ra, the new supreme god of the Greek Empire. People were having that in 100 AD, Plutarch on Isis and Osiris stated things thusly. Most people believe that Ammon is the name given to Zeus in the land of the Egyptians, a name which we shall with slight alteration pronounce as Ammon. Lucas Livingston, we already covered that off as well. Ammon's epithets include king of the gods, lord, good functionary, foremost of it, good guide, good god, living by Ma'at, lord of crowns, great God, whose name is hidden, throne of Ammon, divine judge, ruler of rulers, self-created, who made what is and created what is, builder who made every eye, he who forgives free passage, king of eternity. Okay. Just keep thinking expansion. Yeah, Zeus, the sky, thunder, lightning, storms, air, winds, clouds, weather, law, justice, and honor. Patron of humans, Zeus is called the father of the gods, the king of all. Zeus's name is thought to have originated from ancient Greek. The word for bright, the word has a close connection with dies, which is the Latin word for days. Has an ancient very history. Therefore, many mythologists believe that Zeus is one of the oldest Greek gods. Usually, Zeus is portrayed with a scepter in one hand and a thunderbolt in the other, both symbols of his authority. Sometimes he wears a crown of oak leaves. The oak was deemed to be his sacred tree. Homer repeatedly describes him as Aegis bearing. The Aegis was an enormous shield which Zeus frequently carried with him, lending it to his daughter Athena from time to time. In addition, he owns a pet, a giant golden eagle called Atos Dios. Now, who else was rolling with a big bird? Because you had Ammon rolling with Ra, and Ra is like an eagle in it. So Zeus rolling with this big bird. It looks familiar, innit? Respectively, let me just take that. So Zeus's epithets include king of the gods, ruler of the Olympians, judge and protector, divine shield, because of that shield, yeah, father of the world, leader, ruler, he who concourse things, he who brings help to the needy, he who holds together, he who nourishes all things, he who has the power of impelling, he who is conquered by none, he who has the power of establishing, instituting, and finding. Is also related to fortune and luck. So you can see the judge, yeah? They establish, institute, find, take over, merger, acquisition, cease and desist. Come here, you're rolling with me now, strong arm, say something, okay, cool, your offerings is coming to us now, yeah? That's the type of energy, hostile takeover. Now check it. When Ammon was running its thing, he had money. When Zeus is running his thing, he had money, blood. Look. How long is that going to take to make? I know it's an artist rendition, but come on, B. So, a 19th century illustration depicting how the enormous statue of Zeus at Olympia may have appeared, originally thought to have been crafted by the expert sculptor Phidias out of ivory and gold. The statue stood over 12 meters tall and was counted among the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Yeah. Okay, bouncing in again, my man with his eagle and his lightning. Yeah, make him know the eagle and the heart them surround me. Yeah. But you know, he's got the eagle, he ain't got the hawk, but he's got the lightning. Yeah. Okay. We got bouncing in now. Jove, aka Lupiter, aka Sky Pater, aka Jupiter, aka Sky Father. Jupiter was born from Saturn and was the supreme god. Find out who Saturn is in a second. He was often referred to as Jupiter Optimus Maximus, yeah, which translates as the best and greatest. He was the father of the gods of Roman mythology. His jobs were many. Jupiter brought light and controlled the weather. He supplied protection during battle and gave victory to the winners. Can you see a little theme coming through here, yeah? Where it seems like he's a lucky type of juju. His presence was needed in times of war, but also during peace, where he kept order and supplied warfare. It was also thought that he was the god of heaven and not just the real world sky above, okay? The Roman calendar had more holidays to my man Jupiter than anybody else. Once again, expansion, just think expansion. His name translates to Old Latin as father. Another phrasing of his name, Jove, is an extension of our day of the week Thursday, and obviously we use his name in description of our largest planet today. That final point is derived from an extension of one of his epithets. Jupiter was often called all kinds of different terms for separate functions he served, just like Ammon. One was Jupiter Callistus, which basically means heavenly or celestial, okay? Jupiter's epithets include the lightning of the lights, sender of thunder, defends boundaries. The name of the god was also adopted as the name of the planet Jupiter, as I mentioned before, and was the original namesake of Latin forms of the weekday, now known in English as Thursday, but originally called Jove's Dies in Latin, giving rise to Judy, in French, Juves, in Spanish, Joy, Romanian, Jovidi, Latin, Joyous, in Catalan, Zoves, in Gallego, Joby, in Furlam, called the Great Benefic, is often related to fortune and providence. Once again, yeah, man, like, it's a high, innit? So lucky dude, yeah, that's where you find your luck in your chart if you're trying to break it down. But You know, we now know where that energy and that JoJo came from and what they was trying to represent with them type of vibes there. And now we got, you know, the Kingpin bouncing in. Yeah. They had his eyes looking funny. I tried to Photoshop it, but then I thought, you know what, now I'm gonna leave it as it is. Yeah, this is the OG Osiris. Yeah, they tried to get rid of them, tried to clap off all the noses, you know why? We don't know. We do know. We won't go into that, yeah. But this is Jeb, and then you got Asar, aka Osiris. I refer to him as Osiris just to keep it simple, yeah. Asar. Okay. And then we got to the left, to the right, sorry, Kronos. And then moving in again now, just drop it in, bam. I lost the limb. We got Saturnus, aka Saturn. Yeah. So when you think of Saturn, think of time, patience, constriction, delays, you know. We'll get into it, yeah. Okay, so I saw Osiris, the god of fertility, agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation in ancient Egyptian religion. His epithets include beloved of Ra, bull of Amenti, eldest born, giver of years, god of millions, guide, Haith of Gem, king of kings, lord of lords, hidden one, inert one, mysterious one, lord of bounty, Lord of Osiris, cross, Lord of eternity, Lord of fear, Lord of life. We all know about Osiris and the story of Isis and Set. Another story from Diodorus Siculus gives us another version of the myth on which Osiris was described as an ancient king who taught the Egyptians the art of civilization, including agriculture, then traveled the world with his sister, or Set, aka Isis, the satyrs, the satyr, sorry, and the nine muses before finally returning to Egypt. Osiris was then murdered by his evil brother Typhon. Messed up, innit? Who was identified with Set. Typhon divided the body into 26 pieces, which he distributed among his fellow conspirators in order to implicate them in the murder. Isis and Hercules, aka Horus, avenged the death of Osiris and slew them. Yeah, feelings them I carry. Slew Typhon. Isis recovered all of the parts of Osiris except his phallus paws and secretly buried them. She made replicas of them and distributed them to several locations, which then became centers of Osiris worship. Yeah, so there's better stories from my man. That's an interesting one just to pay attention to. Now, Kronos is the god of agriculture, so we're moving now into Greek, okay? Obviously, I don't want to go too deep into each one, but I'm just trying to give you an idea and a vibration of what's going on. So Kronos was the god of agriculture in Greece. Actually, he was a titan, but the titans were worshipped in the same way as the gods, okay? In Attica, his festival was called the Corona, no virus, no C19, celebrated the harvest and resembled the Saturnalia. Well, obviously, isn't it? Libyan account related by Diodorus Siculus, Book 3, Uranus and Tityra were the parents of Kronos and Rhea and the other titans. Ammon, a king of Libya, married Rhea. However, Rhea abandoned Ammon and married his younger brother Kronos. With Rhea's incitement, Kronos and the other titans made war upon Ammon, who fled to Crete. Kronos ruled harshly, and Kronos in turn was defeated by Ammon's son Dionysus, who appointed Kronos and Rhea's son Zeus as king of Egypt. Dionysus and Zeus joined their forces to defeat their remaining titans in Greek. And on the death of Dionysus, Zeus inherited all of the kingdoms, becoming lord of the world. A bit of a mouthful of that story, but hopefully you get the point. It's a kind of a similar situation as above. The epithets of Kronos include king of the golden age, king of Elysium. Elysium is the name of heaven, the first king of heavens, king of the golden race, king of aeons, father the happy gods and men, to name a few. Then we move now into Rome. Yes, Saturnus, he was described as the god of generation, dissolution, plenty, wealth, agriculture. Kronos, agriculture. Sa, agriculture. Periodic renewal and liberation. Saturn's mythological reign was depicted as a golden age of plenty and peace. After the Roman conquest of Greece, he was conflated with the Greek titan Kronos, becoming known as a god of time. Saturn has an epithet Satus, meaning sowing. Another is Stersilus, referring to agricultural functions, from Stercus, okay, meaning dung or manure, referring to how death can make good compost. Other epithets include Lord of Time. He's me stuttering again, yeah. Lord of Time, Saturn the Grower, Saturn the Generator, Saturn the Liberator, Saturn the Blessedly Rich. So pay attention to those words because it's showing you the type of nature that you're dealing with when you're looking into astrology as to regard to Saturn. Please note, sorry, once again, it comes from the ancestors, man. the old theology, you know, given from the gods to men, you know, gods to men, you know, fam. So we understand where this inspiration came from for the planet. Yeah? As I said before, there's a bag of them, but trying to keep it a buck, yeah. Okay, we understand the ancient Egyptians had 5 major cosmological schools. There's a bag more, but I'm just keeping it, you know, let's keep it a buck, keep it trivial and be a bit educational, you know, for your mind, on time for your mind, as they say. The introduction to a theory that Hebrew scripts is Greek holy writing, as Medunetta is to hieratic demotic. I'll say that again. We had an introduction to a theory that Hebrew script is Greek holy writing, as Medunetta is to hieratic demotic. Okay, we discussed the different ways the Egyptians used pictographs or fonts to convey messages. You had a brief introduction to the mystery systems of each theology, just briefly. Never got deep into it, but you can do your own research when you're ready. You're probably having a light bulb moment thinking, so this is what it's got to do with astrology. I see it all now, babe. I see, yo, bravo. Bravo. He did that nice. Yeah, I tried, I tried. Anyway, we can now look at the elements to see if they carry a certain persona. Now, because we reached the hour again, blood, I'm gonna have to cut this one, yeah? And you can jump onto the next video. Okay. Okay. Yeah.